This video is for adults who are at least 18 years of age. This is no joke. I'm going to read to you some parts of the Bible which are very sexually explicit. Now, you might think, where on earth are there sexually explicit parts of the Bible? And they're often covered over, it seems, by euphemistic translations, particularly in the Christian translations. But recent work in looking at the original Hebrew, particularly in the Jewish scriptures, reveals a very sexually explicit narrative. And I wanted to share that with you, not for any prurient or pornographic interest, but just so perhaps we can realize that the Bible really is not for children. Children should not really read the Bible, at least certain parts of it, because it is very explicit. Now, to share with you just a brief excerpt, I'm going to turn to Bart Ehrman's wonderful book, The Bible, A Historical and Literary Introduction, published by Oxford University Press. And he has a section on the Song of Songs. Now, what is this? This is a text in the Jewish Bible, part of the writings, as they're called. So they're not part of the Psalms or the historical books or the Pentateuch. And the section he's talking about in the Song of Songs is very erotic. And he entitles this section Eroticism in the Song of Songs. Traditionally, the book is written by King Solomon, who lived about 900 or 1000 BCE, before the Common Era. But today, scholars date it to about the 3rd century BC. It has nothing to do with King Solomon at all, who passed away many centuries before. Why do they say that? Well, because of the nature of the language, the references, the style, the vocabulary, and so on. Lots of indications that it is much, much later than King Solomon's time, and more likely to be about the 3rd century BCE. So it's not by Solomon. We don't really know who wrote it. And it is basically a song, a rhapsody between a man and a woman. It's sexual, it's explicit. But the church, particularly from the time of Origen, this is a 3rd century church father onwards, interpreted it allegorically to refer to the church and Christ, or Christ's love for the church. And then it became to refer to the Virgin Mary. And the Christian church developed a theological reading of what is definitely not a theological text if you just read it in its plain meaning. So I just want to share with you then the full eroticism of this. So again, you get a sense that the Bible is a library of books. It contains some very disturbing material, genocides allegedly commanded by God to kill women, children, babies and animals for sins of people who were passed away centuries before, famously 1 Samuel 15. It contains virtually pornographic material about the erotic attraction between a man and woman, the lovers of the Songs of Solomon, and other disturbing material as well. So just wanted to read to you what Bart Ehrman says, which is actually really interesting, I think. So the full eroticism of the Song of Songs does not come across in most English translations. This is really the point I'm trying to share with you, how the Christian translations have kind of euphemized and softened and covered over the realities of, certainly in the Song of Songs anyway. The following is a more literal translation of one of the key passages, provided by Hebrew Bible specialist Professor Michael Coogan. Now, he happens to be a professor at Harvard Divinity School, and he's one of the world's leading biblical scholars. And he has just translated the Song of Songs, chapter 5, verses 2 to 6. And I'll just read it out, and you can obviously follow it yourself. I'm not going to comment on the content so much because it is very explicit. I slept, but my heart was awake. Listen, my lover is knocking. Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my perfect one, for my head is wet with dew. My lover thrust his hand into the hole, and my insides yearned for him. I arose to open to my lover, and my hands dripped with myrrh, my fingers with liquid myrrh. upon the handles of the lock. I opened to my lover, but he was gone. Song of Songs 5:2-6. Now, this book is full of explicit, erotic, sexual imagery. And as I say, both in later Judaism, but especially in the Christian church, this was clearly highly embarrassing because they allegorized it. They read it in a theological way, as I say, to refer to Christ's love for his church, as if Christ had a sexual attraction for his church. It's extraordinary, really. So I just want to share with that just another insight into the nature of the Bible, I should say. An important point to remember, I always stress this with people, the Bible, and I have a copy here, of course, this is a Bible, this is very misleading. When I show you this single book, with between a cover, that's not really what the Bible is like. It was originally a library of books containing many different authors over 1,000 years or more, and the texts were written on individual scrolls, like the Dead Sea Scrolls. They weren't contained in the pages of a book. We have this because of the invention of printing, and the way now the text here is really microscopic, and you can split it all in. But in the ancient world, when Jews, rabbis had the Bible, they had individual scrolls, huge manuscripts that were rolled up and kept separately in pigeonholes, in the synagogue or in rich people's houses. They weren't contained in a single book like this. And why does it matter? Because this gives the impression that it's a single author and it's just a single narrative, but it's not. As I say, it's a library written by many, many different people, most of whom we don't know who they are, over many centuries. And different Christians have different canons, different lists of books, and they interpret it differently. And of course, the Jewish Bible, which is a part of the Christian Bible, has quite a different flavour if you understand it from a Jewish point of view than if you read it from a Christian perspective. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that little nugget of information about the Christian Bible and the Jewish scripture. Till next time.